ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for good friend and colleague, Mr. Matthew George, back on Friday. Was here yesterday, talked day one recap of the NBA draft, and today we're going to talk recap in day two. WNBA numbers look like Caitlin Clark out again, and as my headliner is Caitlin Clark out again, will PAIGE shine? So we'll get into the WNBA, of course, as well. First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. WagerWire, head on over to Google Play, download the app, it is free. Zach, Travis, Guy, myself, Amber Hawley, Carol Box, Ali, Matthew. The list is endless. Just jump on board. I promise you'll have good time. AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith on Facebook. Come on back to AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Steaks, seafood, chops, appetizers, wine. Terry's got it all. Place an order today. You could be grilling by Sunday. So without further ado, Mr. Matthew George. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff. How are we doing?
We're doing great. The NBA draft is over. NHL tonight. It's just comical. Let me see. Stanley Cup over. NBA over. NBA draft now complete. NHL tonight. And before you know it, we'll be seeing Shams and everyone else in Las Vegas for the rookie camps. I mean, just blink and you miss something.
I know, and everything is happening very quickly. Not to mention that the finals just happened this past Sunday, so everything is moving quickly. And round two happened last night, and it's a matter of moments of seeing how these rookies are able to stand out in the summer training camps, and how the preseason goes for them before they get into get inserted to the lineups and the rosters for some of these teams.
Round two complete. A lot of moving, a lot of shaking. Again, I said this yesterday. And no disrespect to any of these guys here. Listen, this is the elite of the elite of the elite. Sometimes it's almost better off you don't get drafted. Then you can kind of pick and choose. Maybe you got a softer landing, a better chance either to make the team or get into the G League here. I said the second round picks are like Skittles. Nah, I don't want it. You take it. No, you take it. I don't want it. What'd you see in round two, Matthew?
So there were five players that I have worth noting that I put in our notes for today. So, first one was Ryan Kalkbrenner out of Creighton. Obviously, we know Creighton as a team is a great 3-point shooting team. So Ryan Kalkbrenner fits into that system. So Ryan Kalkbrenner can bring some dynamic scoring to the Hornets if they decide to use him. Obviously, again, second rounders, they either go into the G League or they actually get inserted into the lineup for the respective rosters. So it just depends on who actually gets inserted, because we saw that with Terrence Shannon Jr. last year, and he was inserted a lot into the rotational role in the bench for the Timberwolves. So I wouldn't be surprised seeing Rod Cockburn being in that same situation. Obviously, because they are a younger team as well. Obviously, with T. John Salon being still their project from last year's draft in the first round. So it'd be a very interesting dynamic in how Rod Cockburn could bring a big man shooting perspective from that for the Hornets. On the other side, we got Jediah Broom. We saw him being in the big dockets for Auburn in that NCAA run with Auburn. He's a good dynamic scorer, especially he could shoot anywhere from three, from mid range, and he could definitely finish around the rim. So he got drafted by the 76ers, and that's a very interesting pick. I wonder if he actually gets inserted into the bench, because I would like to see that him backing up the guys like Reed and Joel Embiid, even if need be. That'd be very interesting to see if Janai Broom gets some minutes. Um,
Let me interject right there because I have a big question for you. And I talked
mhm.
to some friends, some colleagues weeks and weeks ago when they were setting up, the top five, the top 10 in round one. This Broom kid, okay, was the second the second best player according to his peers in the country last year, meaning it was Cooper Flag for player of the year and it was Broom for second. Yet second round pick, some people didn't even have him on their draft boards. Is it his game just doesn't equate right now to the NBA? Why? I mean, he was dynamic for the run that Auburn had. His defense, everything about him. Second rounder, thanks but no thanks. I don't get it.
Is the thing with him is that he's very streaky when it comes to shooting, because he only shot 27% from three last season with Auburn, and he's not a good free throw shooter. You have to be able to knock down your free throws. He was only 58% from the free throw line. Like Coach and I were talking about this when he did his podcast throughout the college basketball season and during the NCAA tournament. You have to be able to make your free throws. That was also the reason why that Auburn, didn't make much of a run in the NCAA tournament like they should have. So it's a matter of, yes, he's a great dynamic player. Now, also didn't mention that he's also a 5-year player. He went to Morehead State for 2 years and then had redshirted and then went over to Auburn for his next 3 years. So, a lot of the times that, even like we saw with some of the 4 years and 3-year players, it's very the NBA tries to be really wishy washy in terms of how they handle 4 years and graduate players, because yeah, they're great, but sometimes because there could be a reason why they stay for 4 to 5 years in their respective schools.
All right, you had three more on your list there. Chaz Lanier from Tennessee, Cam Jones, who I'm a big fan of course. I follow the Big East, of course. Pacers take him from Marquette, and then the Cavs took a shot with Tyrese Proctor from Duke.
Yeah, the biggest one for me is Tyrese Proctor, because again, he is a 4-year player coming out of Duke, but he's a great 3-point shooter. We saw that, and I mentioned this before. Yesterday, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody takes Tyrese Proctor in the second round, and let alone the Cavs actually take him. And very surprising that they have a second round pick. So, he, along with Donovan, if they insert him to the roster, him with Tyrese with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, I think that's a great way to insert him into that bench, because let's say one of them go out, for about with injury, because especially with Darius Garland, there's been dealing with some injuries, especially he didn't do, especially in this past season with the playoffs. So we could see him being that bench option to shoot the ball from three, because I think he's one of the best shooters in the draft. So it's just a matter of him being inserted to the lineup. Cam Jones, as we mentioned, coming out of Marquette, I think he's going to be a sneaky pick coming out, because obviously we know that TJ McConnell, we don't know how if he's going to still stay with the team. I think he would, but Ben Shepherd and Andrew Nemhard, those are your guards for the rest of the year for next season, because projectingly Tyrese Halliburton is not going to come back at all next season. So I think inserting him into that bench can be a great asset for the Pacers, because he could definitely score the ball and pass the ball as well. So and then Chaz Lanier, obviously, is great dynamically for the Pistons. So the Pistons is a very young team. It could be inserted to the bench very easily too.
Any name or names that didn't get drafted that you were surprised that will already signed to go to camps anywhere else?
Yeah, Hunter Dickinson, I believe the Pistons, I believe, picked him up, or one of the two teams. But I think Hunter Dickinson is a very dynamic scorer in the paint. So I think he's gonna be doing very well in the G League. I do believe he signed a 2-way contract. That was the only notable one that I think from last night, that whoever didn't get drafted got signed into a training camp or got signed into a 2-way contract.
WNBA tonight. One, two, three, four, 5 games on the docket. Of course, my lead in, looking at some numbers here, just strictly from the market standpoint. Indiana 7.5 point overnight with a 173.5. Now down to 2.5 with a 168.5. Again, we talked about it yesterday. Obviously, Caitlin Clark out, and she'll be out again. Insert Paige Beckers traveling to Dallas. Still a statement though that the Fever are favored in Dallas.
And because obviously the Dallas still is trying to figure out their way in terms of scoring and offense, and their defense is picking up a little bit, but their scoring still needs to be addressed, because Arike Unawale is still being very streaky for Dallas in the wings, because you know she is probably the second best player on the team. She was the best player last year, but she couldn't really do it. She's not, but she has to share the scoring load with Paige Becker. So I'm very happy that in terms of the prop market, that we're not going with we're not going with Caitlin Clark today. So we're gonna go with Paige Beckers on over to 18.5 points at even money. So I'm not surprised by this, because she's gotten 20 plus points in 3 of her last 4 games. Not to mention that we saw last week that she's the fastest rookie in WNBA history to hit 200 plus points and 50 plus assists. So she's been dynamic so far in the rookie year. She's going to run away with the rookie of the year, as obviously. So it wouldn't be surprising to me that she also, comes out tonight against the Fever and puts up a dynamic scoring performance, because she is obviously, again, no Caitlin Clark tonight, so she won't be defending her. It's sad to sucks to see that she won't be able to play, because you would like to see that 1-2 punch. That 1-2 punch battle, like with Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers against each other. Hopefully, we see that again with the rest of the season. But hopefully, we did get for her tonight.
Anything else on the prop market, or anything else that you see?
Yeah, as you see there, we got Nafisha Collier for 20 and a half plus points at -122 against the Dream tonight. She's gotten that number over 4 out of the last 6 games with 20 plus points. So wouldn't be surprised if she does this again tonight against a very interesting Dream team that has been surprising so far throughout this season. On the other side, we got the Sky against the Valkyries. The Sky are still horrible in terms of generating offense. They've gotten decently better, but that's not saying too much. So we're gonna go with Kayla Thornton. She's been dynamic for a very, very surprising Valkyries team that is new new to the WNBA, and they are 7-7. That's very great start for the Golden State Valkyries. So we're going to take Kelton Thornton at plus 15 and 15 plus points at minus 118 because she's gotten that number 6 out of her last 7 games with 15 plus points. So that's a good amount of a hit right there. We're going to go to Nika Wunike with 16 over 16 and a half points at minus 120 minus 128 because she's gotten that 15 plus points in 4 straight games. They're facing the Storm. They're facing the Sun tonight, so it should be relatively easy because the Sun are probably the worst team in the WNBA so far. And then lastly, the Liberty against the Mercury. The Mercury have been a very surprising team, obviously with the addition of Alyssa Thomas as well, because she's a very dynamic from both the assist, rebound, and scoring perspective. But we're going to take Brianna Stewart over 20.5 plus 20.5 points at minus 120 because she's hit that number 4 out of the last 5 games. So she's going to be the big reason why the Liberty are going to be scoring tonight because Sabrina Ionescu has been very streaky as of late. So we're going to take the second best player in Brianna Stewart because she's been very dynamic. She's always been consistent for the Liberty. So we see how she does tonight against a better and more surprising team in the Phoenix Mercury.
The dog days of summer have officially begun. We talked a little backstage earlier. From a sports perspective, now you do a lot of producing. You do work with the Sports Grid. I'll see you tonight at 8:32 in game live with Joe Madden and Scott Wetzel, and you do work with Sirius Radio. From a sports-minded person like yourself, 4th of July is next Friday. I know we still got NBA rookie camps out in Vegas. For me, we get the dog days of summer for baseball. I do work with Andrew McGinnis for the CFL. Once you get to August 1st, people breathe because it's NFL preseason, and before you know it's Labor Day and the season's begun. Give me the Matthew George playbook, say from 4th of July on to Labor Day.
Well, it's all baseball because from a fan perspective, I am a Yankees fan. So because I've been a Yankees fan since I was a child, and not stopping now because they have a good chance of making to the playoffs. They are 46-34, so they are the problem is that they're lately getting in that summer slump. So they lost the series against the Reds, which they shouldn't have. But the way that I see how the summer's going, we're taking the WNBA by storm. So we're not stopping there. Obviously, the rest of the season will be still going on as we're going into the later part of the season. We're approaching the All-Star break for the WNBA as well, so we'll see how that goes in terms of that with the WNBA. And again, as I mentioned, the baseball season is full swing, so we're gonna take a lot of that. We've done some prop markets as well. We're gonna do some Formula One as well because there's some of the races. I was gonna do some prop markets over the weekend for this race with the Austrian Grand Prix, but I think I'm gonna stay away from this one. I don't know too much about this one in terms of how the track layouts are, how the chicanes are. So I just want to invest myself a little more with the Formula One races because there's going to be a lot more races, especially Vegas is going to come up very, very soon. Especially, I believe that's coming up in August. So that's going to be very interesting to see in how the races unfold. I'm still in that kind of perspective with Formula One. I'm a Mercedes guy, so we'll see how Kimi Antonelli and George Russell how do throughout the rest of the season because they are I believe the third best team, the third best 1-2 punch. Especially Kimi Antonelli did absolutely amazing last Grand Prix, getting in the podium spot. So he was very dynamic. So he in his rookie year getting a podium spot is very interesting to see. And not to mention George Russell did win the last Grand Prix as well. So we see how he transitions as well. So this is going to be a very interesting summer and how the rest of the way goes.
Well, for myself, at 1 o'clock, I will be a guest at McGinnis picks on Wager Talk. We're going to talk some CFL, some MLB, and then at 1:30, Scotty Webb will be live back in studio. MLB Friday Night Lights, talking the MLB market. As I said, at 8:32, I will be a guest with yourself, Joe Madden, and Scott Wetzel on In Game Live. But as we always wrap up this segment, tell them A, where they can find your work, B, your schedule, and C, of course, your podcast with Coach James Young.
Yep, as Jeff mentioned on NG28 Sports on Twitter, I will post the recap of today's prop market of what you guys saw today with the WNBA. I will repost it if you guys missed it. And then in terms of Coach's podcast, Coach and I do a podcast. He does the podcast straight up, and from Tuesday and Thursday. Today it got released today because we were talking about the NBA draft, the first round. So it got released today. If you guys saw it today, and then 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, as Jeff mentioned, he'll be on tonight from 8 to 10, 8:32 p.m. With for one segment talking about the WNBA and Major League Baseball. And then throughout the week, Scott Wetzel does a show 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Joe Madden is going to be covering for Dave Sharapan as he's recovering. So, and then next week as well. So, everything is going to be very, very interesting on how the rest of the season goes, and it's going to be very fun as well.
Well, we can't wait, of course. The weekends here locally, listen, we had 90, 95 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We got a reprieve yesterday. It's nice out there. So get out there, get your cardio, get your beach in, get your golf in or whatever. Again, 1 o'clock, be a guest with Andrew McGinnis. 1:30, Scotty Webb live for the Midday Market Report, MLB Friday Night Bright Lights. For myself, Jeff Dawson, ADT Sports Invest, the one and only Mr. Matthew George at MG28 Sports. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy yourself. The weekend's here, guys, and stay tuned.